All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into the world of someone I'm pretty sure you've heard of, Michelle Obama. But here's the thing that really caught my attention. Even years after leaving the White House, her popularity is, well, kind of remarkable, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, you see those favorability ratings. They actually top both Donald Trump and Joe Biden's.
Yeah, I know, right? It makes you think. What is it about her that resonates so much with people, even now? So we've got a really interesting mix of stuff to look at today. Biographical info, some recent poll data, and, believe it or not, some discussion points from a document simply titled Pasted Text.
Pasted text. Well, that's a creative title.
You know, you gotta admire the simplicity, but hey, who knows what gems we might find. All right, so let's start at the beginning, shall we? Michelle Obama, born Michelle Robinson, grew up in Chicago, working-class family. Her dad, Frazier, was a city pump operator, and her mom, Marion, was a stay-at-home mom who later became a secretary. Pretty grounded, right?
It is. And it's interesting how that upbringing seems to have shaped her. There was a strong emphasis on hard work and education, something she talks about a lot.
For sure. I mean, look what she ended up for undergrad Princeton.
Exactly. Not just any college. And her majors, sociology and African American studies. Even her senior thesis title is telling. Princeton educated blacks and the black community.
Ooh, that's way more than just an academic thing, right? It kind of hints at her commitment to community, something we see throughout her life.
Definitely. It shows she was thinking about social dynamics, how education impacts communities, especially the black community, themes she'd later champion on a much larger scale.
Okay, so Princeton, check. Next up, Harvard Law. And this is where Barack Obama enters the picture.
That's right. Harvard Law, marriage in '92, then daughters, Malia and Sasha. But even as their story was unfolding, Michelle was building a seriously impressive career.
And this is what I find so interesting. She didn't just coast on that law degree. Associate Dean at UChicago, then VP at the University of Chicago Hospitals, and get this, Executive Director of Public Allies Chicago. I mean, wow.
Right. Each of those roles is about community service, social impact, a real commitment to making a difference even before the national political scene. It's pretty impressive.
Then comes 2009, and bam, First Lady of the United States. But she wasn't just, standing there waving.
Oh, absolutely not. She was way more than just a supportive spouse. Let's move to fight childhood obesity, reach higher, pushing education. Those were her initiatives.
And the Global Girls Alliance, empowering girls through education worldwide. It all goes back to her belief in the power of education, doesn't it?
It really does. And that combination of action, actually doing things, and authenticity, being genuine, it really connects with people.
So we've got this accomplished woman, clearly smart, driven, compassionate. But what's really fascinating to me is how that translates into the kind of popularity we see in the polls years later. The numbers are, well, kind of amazing.
Yeah, the Pew Research Center has her at 63% favorability. It's incredible, given how polarized things are these days.
And to break it down, 55% see her as a positive role model, and 46% think she's had a positive impact on American politics. That's even higher than her husband's numbers.
It is. And I think what we're seeing here is the power of someone who's relatable, intelligent, and genuinely compassionate. Qualities that, let's face it, can feel a bit scarce sometimes.
Okay, so background, career, time as First Lady, check. But what I'm curious about is, what is it about her specifically that makes her so relatable? Why do people connect with her on a personal level, even if they've never met her?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to get to the answer, I think we need to go deeper, beyond the headlines and achievements, to what makes her tick.
You're right, let's do it.
One thing that strikes me is her ability to connect with, well, just about anyone. She seems so comfortable with who she is, and she's not afraid to show her, her vulnerable side.
That's such a good point. In a world where everything's so perfect and polished, Michelle Obama comes across as, well, genuine. Being herself, people are tired of all the fake stuff, right?
Exactly. She's relatable because she's real. That's powerful, especially these days.
So authenticity, check. But she's also incredibly intelligent, articulate. She can explain complex ideas in a way that's clear and engaging.
Absolutely. She's not just relatable, she's sharp, insightful. That combination is what makes her so compelling.
It's like she meets people where they are, but also challenges them to think differently.
I like that. She bridges the gap between the personal and the political, the everyday and the extraordinary. That's rare.
Okay, so authenticity, intelligence, got it. But also her dedication to service. It's not just about her success. It's about using her position to help others make a real impact.
And we see that throughout her life, right? From her work in Chicago to her initiatives as First Lady, and now with the Obama Foundation.
And her memoir, Becoming, gives us even more insight into her journey, her motivations. It's not just a celebrity tell-all, it's a reflection on her challenges and the values that have guided her.
A story of resilience, determination, a deep commitment to making a difference. And that resonates with people, no matter what their background or beliefs are.
So we've talked about her upbringing, education, career, time as First Lady, and how all that feeds into her incredible popularity. But to really understand it, I think we need to spend some time with those poll numbers. They tell a fascinating story about how the American public sees her, and I think they hold some important clues about why she continues to resonate so strongly years after leaving the White House.
I'm with you. Let's dive into those numbers and see what they reveal.
Because those numbers, they tell a story, and I think it's a story worth hearing.
Those poll numbers, they're more than just, statistics. They really show how Michelle Obama connects with people.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What do you see?
Well, 55% see her as a positive role model.
Yeah.
It's huge. It goes beyond just, liking her. It's admiration, respect.
And this isn't just right after she was First Lady either. This is years later. It's really sticking with people.
That's what's so interesting. It's not just leftover goodwill from the Obama years. There's a deeper connection there.
So what do you think is driving that connection? What makes her so appealing, even to folks who might not agree with her politically?
Well, her intelligence is definitely a factor. She's smart, comes across as thoughtful, well-informed. But there's got to be more to it than just that.
Right. You can be smart and accomplished and still not connect with people on a personal level.
Exactly. And that's where I think authenticity comes in. She's comfortable with herself, doesn't shy away from being vulnerable. People see that when they respond to it.
It's funny to compare her to some of the, super polished personas we see a lot these days. There's something real about Michelle Obama. It's refreshing.
I get that. In a world where everything feels so staged, that willingness to be yourself is kind of like a breath of fresh air. It makes her relatable, even to people who might disagree with her on certain issues.
And the work she's done, it matters too. Let's move, reach higher. Those weren't just slogans. She put real effort in, wanted to make a difference.
Totally. Those programs addressed real problems, made a real impact. And that shows she's not just talk, she walks the walk. I think people appreciate that.
And that commitment to action, it continues with the Obama Foundation.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That focus on civic engagement, community development, it shows she's committed to making a lasting impact, not just holding a certain office.
Okay, so we've got authenticity, intelligence, commitment to action. But there's something else I keep seeing about Michelle Obama. People call her inspirational. What do you think? What about her inspires people?
That's a good question, and it gets to the heart of why she's so popular. There's a line from her book, Becoming, that I think nails it. For me, becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously toward a better self.
Wow. That's pretty powerful. It speaks to this idea that life's a journey, not a destination, that we should always be learning and growing, trying to be better.
Exactly. And Michelle Obama really embodies that. She takes risks, pushes herself out of her comfort zone, uses her platform to support the things she believes in. And in doing that, she inspires others to do the same.
And I'm struck by how she deals with the challenges of being, a woman in the public eye. She's been criticized, scrutinized, but she's always handled herself with grace and dignity.
That's another thing people connect with, especially women. She's a role model for handling ambition, motherhood, public life, all of it with strength and resilience. And she does it all while being true to herself and her values.
Okay, so we've got authenticity, intelligence, commitment to service, and those inspirational qualities. But, there's another aspect of Michelle Obama that I think we need to talk about, and that's her marriage to Barack Obama.
Absolutely. Their relationship has been in the public eye for, forever. And they've handled it with so much grace and humor. It's really admirable.
It's clear they respect and admire each other personally and professionally, and they've managed to maintain a sense of normalcy and warmth in their family life, despite being, the Obamas.
Yeah, their partnership is a great example of how to support each other's dreams while staying grounded. It resonates with people, especially when so many relationships these days feel, fragile.
Their story reminds us that leadership doesn't have to be about power or control. It can be about working together, respecting each other, and sharing a commitment to making a positive impact.
That's a message we need to hear, especially now with all the division and polarization in the world.
So we've covered a lot. Her upbringing, her achievements, her time as First Lady, and the reasons behind her enduring popularity. But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm wondering, what's the most significant takeaway from her story for you? What's the one thing you think people should remember about Michelle Obama?
Yeah, it's a tough one. There's so much to admire about her. But if I had to choose one thing, it's this. Michelle Obama shows us that impact isn't limited to titles or positions.
That's interesting. Tell me more.
Well, she's obviously accomplished a lot, but her influence goes way beyond her time as First Lady. She's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter where we come from or what we do.
I think that's such an important message, especially for young people just starting out. Michelle Obama's story shows that you don't need to be born into privilege or power to have a positive impact.
Exactly. It's about using your voice, your talents, whatever you have, to advocate for what you believe in, to make a difference in the lives of others.
And that's a message we need now more than ever.
I agree. We need more people like Michelle Obama, people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in, who are committed to making a difference, and who inspire others to do the same.
Well said. You know, speaking of inspiration, let's shift gears a bit. Remember that mysterious pasted text file we talked about earlier? Well, it turns out it's a collection of discussion topics and questions. Looks like someone was planning an event or presentation about Michelle Obama.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I wonder what kinds of questions people are asking about her life and legacy.
Me too. Let's dig into these pasted text revelations and see what we can find. All right, so we're looking at this pasted text thing, and the first question that pops up is about Michelle Obama's fashion choices.
Oh yeah, her style. It's definitely been talked about a lot over the years.
Totally. People have praised her elegance, how she supports both big-name designers and newer ones.
What's really interesting is how she uses fashion to, well, communicate. It's not just about looking good, it's about making a statement.
Like when she wore that dress by a young, up-and-coming designer to that state dinner with the Indian Prime Minister.
Exactly. A real show of support, putting the spotlight on someone new.
It's interesting how she's handled the expectations of being First Lady, especially a Black First Lady. There's a lot of, baggage that comes with that role.
Definitely. She challenged a lot of those old ideas about what a First Lady should be. Brought her own style, her own substance. Some people loved it, some didn't.
But she's always been true to herself, hasn't she? Didn't let the pressure change who she is.
And that's a powerful message right there. Being authentic, owning your identity.
Okay, next up, there's a question about her relationship with her mother, Marion Robinson.
Oh, right. Marion lived in the White House with them. A real source of support.
It shows how close they are, how important family is to Michelle Obama. She's talked about how her parents instilled those values of hard work, education, community.
Family definitely shaped her worldview. And having her mom live with them at the White House, well, that says a lot about her priorities.
It also makes her more human, Reminds us that even with all the demands of being the first family, there's still a family.
Exactly. It's easy to forget sometimes that behind all the titles and public appearances, there are real people, real relationships.
Okay, let's see. What else we got here in pasted text? There's a section about social media. Looks like Michelle Obama has some concerns about, negativity and misinformation online.
That makes sense. She's all about authenticity, genuine connection. She's spoken out against cyberbullying, things like that.
Right. And she's also emphasized using social media responsibly, constructively.
It's a good reminder that we all have a part to play in creating a better online world, choosing to be kind, respectful, spreading good information.
Absolutely. All right, last question, and this one's interesting. What do you think Michelle Obama's greatest legacy will be? Big question, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, only time will really tell. But I think we're already seeing signs of her impact.
Totally. I think it's how she's changed what it means to be First Lady. She brought intelligence, grace, substance to the role, used it to advocate for things she cares about, like education, health, women's empowerment.
I think you're right. She broke down barriers, showed us what's possible, and she did it all while being herself.
I also think her focus on young people will have a lasting impact. She's inspired so many girls and young women to dream big, believe in themselves.
For sure. She's shown them that they can achieve anything if they work hard, stay true to who they are, and never give up.
And her commitment to making a difference, to serving others, hopefully that'll inspire people to follow in her footsteps.
I think it will, because in the end, that's what her legacy is all about. Inspiring us to create positive change in our communities and the world.
Well said. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the life and legacy of Michelle Obama. We've gone from her childhood in Chicago to her time in the White House and everything in between. We've looked at her achievements, her challenges, and what makes her so enduringly popular.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I think we've all come away with a deeper understanding of this amazing woman.
I know I have. So as we sign off today, we want to leave you with this thought. What inspires you about Michelle Obama's journey? What can you learn from her life and work? And how can you use your own voice, your own platform, to make a positive impact on the world?
Remember, impact isn't about titles or positions. We all have the power to make a difference, no matter how big or small.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making the world a better place.